start to create a piece of art inspired by Sephora Venites, like this example here on the right. So slightly different to the layered face, we're going to start to incorporate some patterns and shapes in the background. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is create a new document. So we want to go to File New. We're looking for an A4 or A3 document, and if it's not on your recents, you can go into Print, and they have the presets in there. Again, if you can't see it here, you can do View All, and a list of them will pop up. So we're going to do A4. Again, here is where you can change your orientation if you want to, but I am going to keep mine portrait and create. So the first thing I want to do, we're going to break this up into layers. Now I can see in this example here, although it doesn't look like a good copy, I can see that pretty much my features, so my eye and my mouth, are pretty much the top layer. So these are going to be the last ones that we put in. We're going to work on the background and a lot of these geometric shapes to begin with. So the first thing we're going to do is fill in our background. Again, colour choice is entirely up to you. I'm going to have it quite similar to the example in that I want a kind of yellow background. So again, the box is down here. You can click on that and pick and choose your colour. Then we're going to go to the paint bucket tool. Now it might not appear as a paint bucket initially on yours. It might be a gradient tool, so it's about halfway down your toolbar, going from dark to light. If you click and hold that down, you can change that to the paint bucket. Click and fill, and it will fill that easily for you. Again, you can be changing this colour at any point. So next thing we are going to do is create some of these organic shapes that you can see here. So your shape tool, again, a toolbar on the left, and it's near the bottom. You can click and hold that in, and again, you can have anything from rectangle all the way down to triangle, and then you can do a custom shape. So that's what I'm going to go for to begin with. And you can see that some of these brushes have kind of strange and random shapes, which you don't want. What you can do is you can have a look in here and see what you want to change, or you can also go into some of these other tools so we can see diagonal. And now what that is going to do, if I take my background away, it's filled it with this colour here, which is not what I want. So I'm going to change that colour. I'm going to click on and make it stand out. So I want to give some complementary colours. I'm going to go with purple, kind of lighten it a little bit. And then I am going to fill this shape. Now you can see it's still a shape layer, and that's not what I want. I want to be able to fill that, so it's not allowing me to at the minute. I also don't want the fill of that shape. So what I am going to do is, when I've clicked on my shape, I am going to go up to, it says fill, I'm going to do no fill, and now what will usually happen is this outline is typically going to be black, or it is possibly the colour that you have in that box. I'm going to make that a little bit wider, and you're going to go to where it says 1px, that means it's 1 pixel wide, very, very thin. You can either type in the size that you want, or the best thing to do, so you can visually see it happening at the time, is drag the little slider, and you can determine how kind of thick you are looking for your lines to be. So I'm going to go with something like that. I then want to fill it, and again I can't, so it's coming up with a little circle with a line through and it's saying I can't do that action. However, if I click on it, what should pop up is a dialog box that asks if I want to rasterize this shape. You click OK, click it again with the fill, and it will change it to that colour, so I should be able to see that now on my yellow background. If at any point you need to, you can obviously take away the visibility depending on what you want to work on. If I want to rotate my shape in any way, so I can change the size of my shape. If I want to rotate, I'll just hover slightly outside these boxes and I can rotate that image. And then if you make any changes in terms of size or rotation to an image, you have to seal that action, and the way you can do that is either by pressing enter, or you can press this little tick up here and it kind of finishes that action for you. So again, I'm going to go in with a few more shapes. Quite like the look of doing some of these triangles. Again, what's going to happen is when I release my mouse, it's going to fill purple. You can see that there. Obviously I don't want a solid shape, I want it to look as if some of them are interlocking and I have an empty space in the middle. So again, up to fill, no colour or no fill. I'm going to change how thick and thin I want my lines to be. Quite nice if you either have them all uniform or have them completely random. These are things that you can play about with. And then I want to change the colour, so for this one I am, what will we go with pink. And again, when I try to fill that, it's going to come up, I can't. Click, OK to rasterise, click and fill. And again, you can then rotate your images in any way. Might make this one a little bit bigger so that we're crossing. I quite like when these kind of shapes cross over. Again, it's entirely up to you how you are looking for your shapes to go. Again, it's solidly pink. I want to go to no fill, change the thickness, don't want that one too thick, and then I'm going to change the colour, and we will go with kind of turquoise colour. Again, if I try and hover over it with my paint bucket, I can't. Click on it, I'm going to rasterise, and then click and fill. And that's me got some of my shapes. Now what I am then looking to do, you can see here we actually have shapes of patterns or shapes of colours, so I'm looking to do that as well. So you can use any stock images for this, so it can be on Pinterest, it can be from Google, depending on what it is that you're after. All I'm going to do is I have my patterns here that I wanted to look quite 80s, so that's all I typed into Pinterest was 80s patterns. So I'm just going to click and drag that in. Again, I want to make it a little bit smaller and hit enter. Now at the minute that my triangle here is above this layer, but I want this one to be at the top, so you can click and drag it up. At the minute it's a smart layer, so we need to then make it just a normal layer. So you'll notice a smart layer if you see your photo of your layer and then a little icon in the bottom. So the way in which we are going to create a normal layer is we are going to select all, we are going to edit copy or Command C, and then we are going to edit paste or Command V. So I no longer need my smart layer, I can pop that in the bin. And layer 1 you can see is titled as my pattern. Now you are able to rename these anything you want. Obviously these are very clear as to what they are. You can start to do background 1, background 2, come up with a system that works for you. So in order to get these kind of curved and freehand shapes, what I am going to do is select the area of the pattern that I am looking for, and to do that we're going to use a lasso tool. So it's the third down on your toolbar on the left. I want to do lasso, and then it means that I can select the area that I want. Once I'm happy with it, you can see it turns into a little dashed line. Command C to copy, Command V to paste. And to take the little eye away, make that invisible, you can see that here is my shape. I can make it a little bit smaller. I can rotate it slightly if I want to. So I'll do exactly the same again with this one here. So clicking and dragging it in, comes on top. We hit enter. It is a smart layer once again. So we're going to Command A to select all, Command C to copy, and then Command V to paste. And I no longer need that smart layer. And again, depending on the area that you want, so say for example I want a relatively small shape but I want my pattern to be quite condensed within it, I typically make my image a bit smaller. Use my lasso tool again, and how as this actually here, I might do a little bit of a again, you can obviously spend a lot more time on your shapes, and the great thing with this is as you're only copying it, you're not cutting it out, you can keep going back and copying new sections, different shapes, and you can experiment that way. So again, we've selected the area with a lasso tool, we're going to Command C to copy, Command V to paste, and if I take away the visibility there, I can now see this image here, and again I can make it a little bit bigger if I wish. So again, you can keep experimenting with layers, with colours. You might want some solid shapes in the background. If I say I am looking for a solid, say I want to have a kind of darker blue circle, but I want it totally filled and I want it in the background. When I put it on, because this is now my top layer, if I drag it down, I can then see it pop behind. So think about it as layers of paper on top of each other. Whatever's at the bottom here closest to the background is going to be further back. What's ever at the top is what's going to be kind of sitting on top, and you're going to see that entirely, like this example here. And then this shape here is obviously our top one, so no matter what I put it on top of, it's always going to be in the foreground. So again, you can play about with compositions, with layering, what's in the foreground, what's in the background, your scale, etc. Now, once I'm happy with that, I've got something that kind of is inspired by this here, and I now need elements of my images I want to pop in there. So all I am going to do, I'm happy with my background here. I have a selection of photographs that I want to choose. So say I am looking to drag this one in, this image here, lovely clean image, and I want to take a section of her eye. So again, marquee tool to select any area, or again, you can use the lasso tool. So if I want something like a diamond, you see here a little diamond section, the best one to use would be the polygonal lasso tool. With that, you can get the shape that you want. You can customize that. So say I've got that area there, Command C, Command V, if I take that away, there is my layer. So I can have it like so. And again, because I've copied the image of the layer, I don't quite like it, so I don't like how I've cropped out part of my eye, I can delete that, and I can select an area again that I do want to have. So again, I am going to go for copy, paste. Then I'm a little bit more happy with that one, so I've got the whole of the eye in there. And again, you can play about with scale, you can play about with rotation, and you can keep doing bits like that. Now, what you can do is you can leave it there. You can have the kind of blank shapes, or perhaps if you are looking to have your shape filled with pattern, I will show you how to do that. So I'm going to take away the visibility of everything except my little polygon. So I have this one here. So what I need is to have my pattern. So I've got my pattern here, but I need to have it below my shape. So I'm going to drag that down and pop it below. So I can now see that it fills my shape. I'm going to take my background away, so the only two things that are visible is going to be my shape on top and my pattern behind. And if I want to have it filled again, I can reposition. I might want to make my pattern a little bit larger. That's entirely up to you. The easiest thing to do in order to remove all of this on the outside is going to be to take your eraser. Again, I'm going to change the size of mine, make it a little bit bigger. Bigger again. And all I need to do is rub out that area on the outside. Because my borders of my shape is quite thick, I don't have to be too neat and pretty because it's not something that you're going to see. All I need to do is rub out what is visible. So we want all of that on the outside. Again, you can obviously take your time and you can have something like that. Now, if I then start to move any of these images, these two are still not together. So what I need to do is I need to merge them. So it's really important that you take away the visibility of all of your layers that you have, including your background. And then we are going to merge visible. So we go to layer, merge visible. And now this is one solid shape. So that is a way in which you can fill your shape, not only with colour, as you can see from the little blue circle, but you can see here I have mine filled with pattern. Again, you can play around with placement, how much you want to add, and it's the same technique that you will use no matter what elements you want to add in there.